Hello guys, and here's an update to our muzzle flash tutorial. What I've added now is a little bit of a distortion effect. So if we go ahead and play this for you, it's quite subtle, but there is an effect there. You can see this like shockwave distortion, which travels with the shockwave. This shockwave also I've added in. I'll do another tutorial on how I actually created that. Or you can go over to my blog and you can actually get the shockwave file for motion from there, so you don't even have to create it yourself, and you can just drag and drop it into your composition here. So what I've done is I added in a new group, which we'll call the shockwave group, and then I brought into here. This is our shockwave video, so I'll show you what that is on its own. That's basically the shockwave. Now this was created in Motion, and like I said, you can go over to my blog. The link is found underneath this YouTube video, and you'll be able to download from there the actual video file and the motion file that is being used here. If you get the motion file, you can customize it yourself. I'll do a tutorial another time on how to create that shockwave. So I imported that shockwave into our composition here, which we made in the previous tutorial. So I dragged it in, and you can see then it's been positioned on the screen here, and I've added a little bit of rotation to it, some 3D rotation. You see, previously it was flat, but I want it to look like it's actually coming out of the gun. So we rotated it in 3D space so that it's approximately parallel with the muzzle of the gun there. So it appears that this shockwave is coming out of the gun. So that basically is how we added that. Now you can see it's getting cut off at the tops here. So I may just want to resize it a little bit so it stays within the frame there. And we'll just move it again to make sure that it's coming out of the center of the gun. And there we go. Okay, so there's our shockwave graphic. Now I want to add that distortion that you can see, which is coming out around with the shockwave. So I added that to our background layer. I added a droplet effect. So you come to your library and go to filters and distortion, and you'll find droplet here. So I applied that to our background layer, and then you just got to play around with the parameters to get it to match your particular style or the theme that you want here. So in my droplet here, I made sure that it didn't begin until my muzzle flash had actually started. So I started a little bit after that first flash. So the first flash is finished at frame 3, and that's where at frame 4 I start my droplet distortion. So I've keyframed the radius going from -50 and up to plus 1049. And then I played around here with the thickness and the height settings. So it's just a matter really of you getting it in your frame here. And you can see if I play around with the thickness, we can change the level of distortion there. Now, you don't want it to be too narrow, otherwise you just get that small distorted band. Now I want it to be more like a ripple effect. So the thickness is almost like a feathering. I want to drag it out, and then the height creates that kind of rippling effect you can see here. So again, you may want to keyframe the height. So we start off here, I'll add a keyframe, and as we come forwards to here, I'll adjust the height, and that gives us this kind of rippling effect to our distortion here. Now I also want to alter the thickness, make it a bit bigger. There we go. And just want to adjust that there. There. I want to make sure you don't get any of this black showing. There we go. Okay, so that basically is how we add in our distortion to our muzzle flash. And the final effect here now, as you can see, is looking quite good. Now, of course, if this was on a moving background, I apologize still, we got this static image. But I will do a tutorial later where we'll composite this into an actual moving background, and we'll use a green screen to give a background, and we'll have a guy firing a gun. But just for now, this gives you a basic idea as to how you can create this type of muzzle flash, sci-fi muzzle flash effect, together with distorting the actual image with the shockwave as well. So I hope this was of some use to you. Like I said, you can go over to my blog and you can download from there various files which you can import and use in your own projects, and motion files which you can customize yourself. So I'll see you on the next tutorial. Thanks for tuning in.